All right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to our webinar, Hurricane Preparedness and Technology. I'm Amanda Netherow, Marketing and Communication Director with the South Lake Chamber of Commerce. And before I introduce our speaker, I wanted to go over a few housekeeping notes and mention a few upcoming events. Everyone should be on mute, and we ask that you stay muted throughout the presentation. If you have any questions for Clinton, please add them to the chat feature, and I will facilitate them at the end of the presentation. Next week, we are hosting 3 webinars. On Monday, we have Coffee with the Chamber at 9 a.m. On Wednesday, we have Business Mindset with Dr. Christine Chin Sim at 9 a.m. And on Friday, we have our Chamber Wellness Recap and Tips for Continuing Your Wellness Journey, also at 9 a.m. Now it's my pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Clinton Pownall of Computer Business Consultants. Clinton has worked in the IT field since 1990 and was one of the first to pioneer voice-over IP technology using satellite communications. In addition to his work with Computer Business Consultants, Clinton serves on the board of directors with Orlando Shakes and is heavily involved with the West Orange Chamber Orlando Partnership and as a community trustee with the South Lake Chamber. Ladies and gentlemen, Clinton Pownall.
Good morning. Thank you, Amanda. Today we're going to discuss the hurricane and storm preparedness and how it relates to technology. And some of these things that you'll be hearing will also be applicable to just general business, good rules of thumb for hurricane and storm preparedness. For those that aren't familiar, Computer Business is a full-service IT company offering a comprehensive suite of IT services ranging from complete IT managed services and security to innovative design solutions. And as Amanda said, I've been working in the IT range since the 90s. We started Computer Business in 1996 and have had quite a bit of experience with storms since then with not only our own business, but also with our own clients. So today, the things that you can do to prepare for a storm, with any business, it's key to planning. Everything is just plan ahead. The transition will be very smooth. A couple of things that we recommend doing are emergency contact lists, distribute those throughout the company to all your staff and your employees, cell phones. We keep ours actually in our break room as well here at the office for in case of an emergency for anything. But to get that information out, and this way, in the case of a storm or emergency, everybody knows how to contact everyone. There's a chance that maybe internet might be down, other electronic communications, and so the cell phone lists and emergency contact lists, etc. We also keep a utility contact list. We also keep that in our break room. These are your utility companies: power and electric, gas company, water, internet, which is obviously extremely important. Not only do we have the name of the utility company, we have our customer number, account number. We have a phone number to reach customer support. We have our reporting outage phone number, also a website if the internet's up and running, or if you're at home, you can log in and report outages. And again, it's highly recommended to distribute this to some of the key employees or key people within the organization. The other thing to plan for is this, well, what COVID has helped is remote workplace, or the ability to keep the continuity of the business in the event the office is damaged, employees need to work remotely. This includes some contingencies for having your main phone numbers transferred to someone's cell phone or transferred to some other organization, which you can just pre-call your telephone provider and say, when this is happening or when this occurs, when your phones go down, you tell them you need to forward the phone numbers and have these numbers forwarded. Also, access to email, remote access to email, that kind of thing, just to ensure there's business continuity, there's not a break in the inability to do any business or conduct business during the time while you're trying to recover immediately following a storm. Another thing we highly recommend, I actually do this personally as well as through the business, is to get a complete office inventory, a complete inventory of everything. What we highly recommend doing is videoing, taking a video of the office. Also, as I said, I do this personally, a video in every room, open up main drawers, that kind of things. And the purpose of this is not only to give you an insight of what's going on, but if something major catastrophically happens, your mindset is into, wow, what did I have, or what do I own? And as you start reviewing the video, you'll realize, oh yes, I forgot in this cabinet, that's right, I had this X, Y, and Z, we had this asset to the organization, and it'll start spurring on the memory. Same thing again, in a personal aspect, if something happens, you'll be able to say, oh yes, I remember in this cabinet or this dresser, I had these contents. Computer business itself, when we monitor our clients' devices, we have a complete inventory of every monitor device, including the date it was placed into action, the date that the warranty started, the dates when the warranties expire, etc. So if you are a Met client of ours, we can always provide at the touch of a fingertip to get you a complete asset inventory of everything we're managing, as I said, as well with the date it was placed in service and when it was when the warranties expire. The other most important thing, the very most important thing for our business is back up your data. I can't say it enough. Back up, back up, back up. Consider offsite backups. Offsite backups are extremely valuable. They've gone to a point now where they're very, very cost effective as far as the cost it takes to keep this going. Clients of ours, we do complete managed backup. We handle the backups, the monitoring, making sure that everything's successful. And again, I can't stress enough about backing up your data. And if you're not a client of ours or you're not using an IT company, get it to thumb drives, get it to USB drives, get that data backed up. In that case, when you're using portable media, the only thing I think you should do is encrypt that media, which again is very easy to do. Microsoft Windows operating systems nowadays make it extremely easy to encrypt portable media. This way, if you're transporting it to your car or transporting it and it gets lost or stolen, you don't have to worry about your data being compromised. But backups are completely essential. I've said this over and over again. We can, with your data, we can restore you back up and running. That's you'll not have to worry. So, what else do you plan for? One of the things that we recommend doing, and we've heavily have pushed this to our clients, is a hurricane preparedness kit. Just we keep it in a weather-tight storage box. Just typically you can buy these at Target, Home Depot, Amazon, wherever. But some sort of weather-type storage box. We keep in there some tarps, some tie-down straps. The tarps, obviously, you can use those in the event to cover the equipment, and then if there's roof damage, that kind of thing, you can put them up on the roof. And what ends up happening is prior to the storm, as you're well aware, there's a run on everything, and you're not going to find the tarps. And then after the storm, everybody needs them, so that there's a shortage every time. I don't think I've seen a major storm hit yet where the shelves are. Again, prior planning is the key to this, and just keeping this kit in a closet somewhere. None of these things are going to expire or go bad. And as I said, we keep the tie-down straps and tarps, large, heavy-duty trash bags. And the reason that we use those is that you can wrap electronic to prevent water damage. We keep a portable lamp. Nowadays, you can get the LED 5,000 lumens lamps for relatively $10 or so. This is great if there's power outages and you need to enter the building. Keep in mind, if you have an office that doesn't have a window and there's no power, you're not going to be able to see inside your office. Keep extra batteries for the lamps. Again, that's something that's a major shortage with when there's a run. I do recommend maybe once a year replacing the batteries out of out of your preparedness kit. This way, because the batteries will die over time, maybe once a year, swap them out and use them for something else. A utility knife to cut tarps, trash bags, anything else. A utility knife always comes in handy. And the final thing, which is the engineer's tool, is duct tape. You can keep duct tape. As you see our engineering flow chart there. That will help you with the tarps, help you wrap the equipment. And if you have roof damage, duct tape comes in very, very handy. And as I said, in a weather-tight storage box. The nice thing about the weather-tight storage box, too, is once you've deployed all this prior to the storm, you can also use it to store any sensitive papers, media, like I said, the USB drives, etc. And you can put these in this box as well. So what do you do when they announce the storm's coming? What are you going to do in the days leading up to the storm? Plan for business continuity. Have discussions on what are you going to do to ensure that the business is going. You may want to consider running payroll early. For example, if the storm is hitting and it's supposed to hit on a week of payroll, you might want to go ahead and get the payroll issued and ready to go. Nowadays, if you're like us, we do direct deposit. We can schedule when the payroll is deposited. If you're worried about time or an employee that's not going to put in a full 40 hours, you could always work it out later, pay them ahead of time, and deduct it later from another paycheck. But this way, you have that taken care of. Get your bills prepaid ahead of time. Again, you can schedule this with banking, but just consider getting everything ahead of time. This way, if I plan for about 5 days of no business operations, this will keep you going financially. Assign someone to take home the main backup device. If offsite backups are not being performed, this is extremely important. Should the person be evacuated during the storm that's in charge of these backup devices, make sure they bring the backup device with them. And I'm not kidding you. We had a client in Katrina in Louisiana. They took the backups home. Back then they were using tapes. They took the tapes home. The office manager, she gets evacuated and left the tapes inside her house. Everything was flooded. We were actually able to recover, but it was relatively old data, maybe 6 or 8 months old. But in that case, when you're looking at no data, 8-month-old data looks amazing. Computer business, again, will handle all the backups to the points when the main backup device is removed. Typically, we do in our offices and for our clients, we do network backups. It's a network device that we back up to. We can help you identify what that device is. And as I said, prior to the storm, have somebody go there, pull that device, and take it with them, secure it in a trash bag, wrap it so it's water resilient, and ensure that they carry this if they're evacuated. So what do you do with the technology in your office? If you have computers, servers, network equipment, what do you do prior to the storm? We recommend to shut down and unplug any non-essential equipment, printers, copiers. Again, anything that's not on a battery backup is extremely important because you're going to get power surges during this time. Lightning strikes may occur. If this equipment's all unplugged, then it's not going to be affected. We do recommend leaving the essential servers running, especially if they're a managed client for us. They're on battery backup. We do auto shutdown when the battery when it's on battery power and there's a limited amount of power left, the servers will automatically shut down. As far as unplugging the cables and so forth, the only thing again is we recommend that you do it for non-essential equipment such as the PCs and the printers. I highly recommend taking some pictures of this so you don't accidentally unplug and then plug something into the wrong port when you're replugging it back in. And we actually had a phone call, and that was a break fix after the last hurricane that hit. And it turns out they plugged the network cable into the wrong port. It took us about an hour to figure it out. We weren't familiar with that client. That's why. And you can imagine the embarrassment on them. But I would just take some pictures. I mean, with your cell phone, whatever, just have everybody take a picture before they unplug everything, and they know where everything goes back in place when they come back to the office. Move your PCs, any essential equipment, away from any windows, any place that they potentially may get wind damaged, or if there's a break in the outer barriers of the office, the equipment can stay safe. Again, we will highly recommend wrapping the PCs, your monitors, any sensitive electrical equipment into trash bags. Wrap them with the trash bags, seal them with a little bit of duct tape. They don't need to be hermetically sealed. Your potential here is not to make them watertight from a flood, which I doubt very seriously could happen in this part of Florida or relatively anywhere. But the goal here is to make them impervious to any rain that might be hitting, or if you have a roof leak and that kind of thing. For the servers and essential equipment left on, if you're not going to remove those from the office, again, we have some clients, multiple servers. For example, some clients with 20, 30 servers. It doesn't make any sense to disassemble all this equipment and reassemble it in the storm. At this point, we now secure the equipment with tarps. We leave enough ventilation, so we are preparing for any rain damage. Most of this equipment's already in a sealed server room somewhere, an isolated area within the building. So our concern really then is if there's any penetration with roof damage, water damage from water leakage, and that's where we drape tarps over this equipment to minimize any water damage. And for any equipment that may be left on. But again, the concern there is you don't want to make it impervious to the point where you have no ventilation, and then you'll have overheating, and then you'll burn out the equipment. And then finally, what do you do post-storm? Post-storm, obviously, you make sure there's no water leaks. If there are, you now have the tarps to be able to seal the roof to minimize that. We just had a power. Am I still on? Thumbs up? Yes, okay. We just had a power glitch here. What are the odds on that one? Verify that there's adequate air ventilation in the office. If the power's out, obviously you're not going to have any equipment running, but if there's damage to the air conditioning units, obviously you don't want to be operating a full server room without any ventilation in there. One of the things actually for my home, what I do is I have portable wall units, or window units, I'm sorry, for air conditioning. I just do that because I want to be comfortable, especially living where I lived. I've several days without power, the most being 13 after a hurricane. I live in Sugarloaf Mountain, and to be 13 days in Florida in June or July without air conditioning is a bit uncomfortable. But again, you can pick up window unit AC devices relatively inexpensive. Ensure that any cables that were connected after you're reassembling everything are reconnected in the order and in the way that you had them. So those are the primary things that you would look at for technology in a storm. And right at this point, I'll take any questions that anybody may have or review anything that you might want to discuss.
So the first question is, if you work from home and don't have offsite backup, what do you suggest?
Well, it depends on what it is that you're doing. Mostly, if you're at home, chances are you're not using a server and you're not using any server services such as Exchange, Office, email, or Microsoft Exchange, or you don't have an SQL database server. So typically in instances like that, your backup services, and I'm not endorsing any of these, I'm just going to name a couple. Carbonite is one of them, for example. You're just interested in backing up. What we recommend for some of our clients that are using this, or for example, what we've set the South Lake Chamber up with, is the Office 365 OneDrive, which we like. It's set up, and this is relatively, if you're somewhat savvy, you don't have to be super technical. It gets that way if you start getting into an environment where you have to start sharing files, and you might need an IT consultant, such as for the chamber. They have to be able to communicate and collaborate on the same files and same data. But OneDrive is a very good tool because it'll synchronize what's on your workstation at home, your laptops. It'll also synchronize across multiple devices, as well as stored on the Microsoft Data Center servers, which themselves are also redundant, and they're a major data center. Their primary data center is out of Chicago, but it's distributed across 2 other data centers in the United States and 1 in Canada. So that I highly recommend that. And that one, in a sense, I am endorsing the Microsoft, but I'm not a paid consultant for them or anything, and don't benefit from that. That is the key thing there, and then you will not have to worry about your data being backed up. It's already backed up off-site, and you don't have to worry if you lose your laptop or device, etc. Now, if you're using emails, most of your emails at that point, again, if you're working from home, I doubt very seriously you're using a Microsoft Exchange server to run emails in your own house. You're probably using a service already, such as Office 365, or maybe you might be running through Gmail. Just ensure that your Office files or email files that are going to be backed up are automatically by these services companies, so you don't have to worry about that. Does that answer the question? And do you have any other questions on follow-up as far as working from home?
No, I think that answers it. Does anyone else have any questions? You can either put it in the chat feature or go ahead and unmute yourself real quick if you have one. I think that's it. We will make these slides available after the presentation, and we will also have the video of this presentation available later this afternoon. There are a couple articles that Clinton has written about hurricane preparedness and technology as well that we will share with this. Oh, hold on, there is another question. Do you support cloud storage such as Dropbox?
Yeah, again, Dropbox is another great tool. As far as does computer business support it? Yes, we have a couple of clients that are utilizing Dropbox. Dropbox, similar to Microsoft OneDrive, has the ability to share. It's not as business friendly in a multiple business environment, such as where OneDrive is. However, Dropbox, if you're a 1 or 2 office situation, Dropbox is a great solution as well. And again, just drag the files right off of your computer right into Dropbox, and they're backed up on the cloud.
Okay. Do we have any other questions for Clinton? All right, I think that is it. Thank you so much, Clinton, for sharing everything with us today. And like I said, everything will be available online through our Facebook page, and we'll link everything on the South Lake Strong page as well later today. Have a great weekend, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.